And so I'll go ahead and click go live, and there it's been a few seconds since I clicked go live, and I see a number in the concurrent viewers, so that indicates there's people watching. Say hello please if you can hear me. And we have really had a nightmare string of difficulties, and we're not completely through them yet. So I'm going to show you Greg's computer over here. We have not been able to establish a good Zoom session yet. So I'm going to try going back to his Zoom now. We just did a full shutdown on his computer and restarted. Hello, William Dawson from Florida. Thank you for joining us. This is a comedy of trying to get this rolling here, and I'll give you more of that in a little bit about what's been going on. But right now we're trying to get the Zoom session established. We've been able to talk to each other, but we've not been able to get Greg's video going, and then his audio gave out too. And oops, okay, so hear me trying to talk and click at the same time. That didn't work very well. So click join, put in the meeting passcode. Let's see, I see Win10, hi from Finland, Sane Goat, we are back, thank you. Yes, we are, and we are trying to get things rolling here. I'm going to say join with video. I'm connected to Greg's computer and doing the clicks on his computer. And now join with computer audio, phone call computer audio right up here. We've had failures with his camera and with his microphone. And that's just, up here it says connecting, so it's trying to connect. Down here we have a slash through his video, which is what we've had all, well, I'm not saying all morning, but for the last 15 minutes, 25 minutes actually now. So that's still not wanting to work. Leave computer audio, test speaker. So failed to detect your microphone. Make sure your microphone is properly connected. Hi caramba. Join with computer audio. He doesn't even have a cell phone, he's told us. And if we try start video again, Logic Capture is the only choice now. It's not showing his camera, cannot start video. And when we go look at, let's see, this PC, right click and properties, his Logitech camera should show up in Device Manager down here in Sound, Video and Game Controllers. And it's not showing up. He's disconnected and reconnected. He's connected into a separate port. I mean a different USB port. Oh boy, and then also when I tried to start the stream, I had a glitch where my streaming computer said it cannot connect to what am I saying? YouTube. Here again, I'm trying to do something and talk at the same time. Okay, stream is running. Stand by. I'm sending that message to him, and I'm actually gonna start YouTube on his computer and talk to him through the live stream. I want to get him to respond to that message. When we first got connected through Zoom, we were able to talk verbally. That was working, but we couldn't get the camera going. And now we've got my remote connection to him is working. but the camera and audio are not working through Zoom. He can see me through Zoom, and I think he can hear me. And he doesn't even have a way to tell me that, except, well, don't do that yet, Greg. So Greg, I'm going to take you to YouTube and actually start the video. And I have the latency on ultra low, so it's probably not going to be a really strong it's not going to be a really strong or long delay. Well, let's see. You need to be able to see the video, I think, do you? But you cannot talk to me. What can we do with that? Okay, Greg, if you can hear me, respond to me in that log me in chat box. Yes, he says, so he can hear me. He can see me. Well, he can see me through Zoom. You know what? If he's hearing me through Zoom and through YouTube, he's probably hearing an echo. Do you hear an echo, Greg? And I've got a very low delay. Not really, so not really hearing an echo. All right. So that's fine. Does having the YouTube stream open on his computer help us at all? Okay, so I'll tell you what. Let me just go ahead with kind of a I'm reluctant to call it a monologue, but that's kind of what it is. So what I'm going to do is, Greg, I'm going to switch away from the view of your computer so you can toggle back to the YouTube video and see me there. I don't know if that helps or matters at all, but I'm going to tell all of you what I think we ought to pursue next. So let me go here. I've got me on video now. And let's see. So William Dawson's asking, is its driver bad? Well, it doesn't even show up in device managers, so the computer's not even recognizing it currently. Wow. So I'm going to bring the chat room up to speed with what has happened. And Greg, I'm able to see you typing to me because I still see your computer. And Greg's asking me, do we need to re-download the drivers again? And what drivers are you referring to, Greg? Because we can't even download drivers for your Logitech camera because it's not showing in Device Manager. The Logitech. Greg, how about you go ahead and just do that? And you know what? We'll watch. And I will try to narrate as you're doing it. Well, this is something that only happens in a live broadcast. Now, yeah, you're not going to be able to watch the YouTube session, so he closed that. He's going to do a web search for the Logitech. He's got, I believe, a Logitech C920 or maybe 922. So re-downloading the Logitech software and installing it sounds like a reasonable solution. Now, while he's doing that, I'll explain to the YouTube audience that when we left Greg, he was doing a attempting to do a reinstall of Windows 10. Let's see, how did we do that? It was, yeah, we were using the media creation tool, were we? To install 20H2. I tell you what, my brain's been through so many things through yesterday and today. So he found the Logitech there, and he's gone to the setup guide, and there's a download button. That downloads for the setup guide. So he's gone to downloads on the left side. And then this looks like it's a driver for the webcam. And the tab at the top confirms it is the C922 Pro that he has. I think that's actually the streaming cam. I think that's the streaming cam that Carrie recommended recently. Let's see, does he got the download arrow up at the top? He's in Mozilla Firefox. It just completed, so now he's opening that. There's the splash screens for the Logitech. So I'm wondering if the method that he used to install, I think it was 20H2, if that somehow damaged the Logitech drivers, in which case the course that he's going on right now sounds like the right thing to do, to reinstall the Logitech driver on top of his attempted reinstall of 20H2. Now, I say attempted because he got an error message. It did not appear to work. So, there's that. And he'll be telling us more about that when he comes back online. And I also have his email that we could go to. So now we got camera not available again. So Greg, I'm going to suggest uninstall the Logitech software and then reinstall it. He just tried to install it on top of the current installation. So he's gone into apps and features, and there's, and also the Logitech Capture. I'd like to go without that. So uninstall the Logitech Capture as well. Oh, tweaking.com, Windows Repair, uninstall that. Well, he's going to have to explain to us what that was about. And if that's some kind of utility that's been running on top of Windows, I would applaud removing anything like that, because we don't know how well they are tested. Any third-party utility, we don't know how well it's tested against this 20H2 version of Windows. Okay, he opened Zoom there a moment. I didn't see him, Greg, I didn't see you uninstall the Logitech software. Maybe you're thinking you've got a better way beyond that. Okay, going back to the video so you can see what's going on now. So I've got your computer on screen right now, which is really messy. If you want to communicate something to me, Greg, the best way to do that is to go to the Log Me in 123 chat window. And let's see, that would be, oops. Okay, I'm going to bring that up to your screen. You can communicate there to me, Greg, what you're trying to accomplish. And so let me show the folks what he's doing. Okay. Re-downloaded the Logitech. So let's see what else we got in the chat while we're waiting for that. Even Epson printer, own printer with fixed program will stop some parts of a Windows update. Just a fun fact. Yeah, I agree. Things that can conflict that make absolutely no sense. So Greg's saying, I re-downloaded the Logitech Capture and uninstall Windows Repair that I ran last night. Okay. So Greg, I'm recommending that you uninstall all of the Logitech elements, because you actually installed on top of the existing. I'd rather not have the Logitech capture software. As a matter of fact, I have proven recently, if you uninstall all of the Logitech stuff, disconnect the Logitech camera, and then just re-plug it back in, it should work without any software. You shouldn't have to install anything Logitech. So what I'm thinking is just uninstall all of the Logitech stuff and then unplug the camera, re-plug it back in and see how we do. Okay, you said you will do it now. Go ahead, and we are watching, or I am watching. I might punch away from your computer now and then. And he might not be hearing us right now because it looks like, does he have Mozilla Firefox still open? I don't think so. Looks like Google Chrome is open. Oh no, those icons you're seeing at the bottom of the screen, YouTube, is my computer. I'm going to maximize his computer so that my taskbar doesn't confuse you. So here's uninstallation complete. It asks for a restart. It's probably not a legitimate uninstall until restarting the computer. Now, is there anything else Logitech? I'd really like to see the Windows. So I'm going to try to muscle in and take over here and come down to, apps and features. Here we go. On the left-hand side, that's what we are in. It's on he's got that dark mode on, and I'm just not adjusted to that. I got to move my picture-in-picture of it. Well, that's the, not picture-in-picture, but that's the Zoom, the video that he's seeing. So is there any Logitech in here? No, there's not. Okay. And then close program and features, close that, and then it asks for a restart. Let's do that. I will initiate. So I was actually typing that message on his screen. Normally I would switch to my chat window, but I wanted to get that there quicker. All right, so the way I'm going to do that is bring his window back down in size. Now you can see my computer's window around that, and then I'll switch to my control of his computer, and I have a reboot command right here, and normal reboot and reconnect. Are you sure you want to reboot? And then I'll switch to his screen because it's just displaying a message that Doug wants to reboot, and I'll click OK. So he has now lost Zoom connection. So he's not hearing me. He's also lost the YouTube, so he's not hearing me there. The YouTube video is still hearing. If he had a cell phone on hand, or if he happens to have another computer on hand, he could be watching the YouTube on another device, but I don't think he is. I'm going to take a look at chat and see if there's anything else there. No other communications to me. We're showing, one part showing me 9 concurrent viewers, another place it says 8. So while I'm waiting for that restart, how about you guys type in the chat room where you're from and what your local time is. I just would enjoy seeing that. When Greg's computer becomes available, I will have a launch remote control button available to me here. And there it shows waiting and active, and here's the launch remote control session. And then I'm going to type a message to him, disconnect and reconnect webcam, enter. And we all know that spelling is messy when you're trying to go fast. So I'm anticipating that he'll type in here that he has reconnected, and when that's done now, I'm not going to try to install Zoom or launch Zoom or anything Logitech yet. I want to see his webcam show up in Device Manager. It has to show up there before anything's going to work. And not seeing anything from him yet. There he is. The camera, lights, blink on, then off. After reconnect. Well, that sounds good. I think that's okay. Let me go check here and see if it shows in Device Manager. No point in testing anything else if it doesn't show up. Nope. What is, here's an exclamation mark. What's that about? Oh, it went away. Bingo! That's good right there. That is wonderful. Now we have not installed anything Logitech on top of that. I'm going to try going straight to Zoom. Quit Zoom. Let's see how we do. Is this going to work or what? This is my idea of a fun Saturday morning. I wonder if they have a vaccination to fix that about me. There's no video preview here. We should have a video preview right here. Not good. If we can join without video and have conversation. Join with computer audio. Now, we had one time when that wasn't even working. So let's see if audio, see right here, we've got a slash through both the microphone and the webcam. Something is really messed up, and I have to think that it's got to do with, well, you know what, let's get Greg into this conversation by bringing up the YouTube video for him. Now, I've got my own YouTube URL now, so if you do youtube.com/LWT for Live Windows Training, DB for DougBetts. And you don't have to do it uppercase, lowercase like I did there. It's just easy to see it. And then here's this live. Let's see, there's some more comments in chat. I'll get to that in a minute. So let's see, he's got the video going there. I'm going to switch away from Greg's computer to take that off of screen. I'm going to catch up with chat here. William Dawson, Cocoa, Florida, 1:30 p.m. Philip Musso, Westchester, New York, 1:31 p.m. Thank you guys for being with us. Kind of a rocky start with a live show here with equipment issues. After the equipment issues I had yesterday with my internet service, I had to drive out and get a replacement Comcast modem. I was down to 0.2 megabits per second upload speed, and that just wasn't working. Earlier in the day, yesterday, it was working fine, so my modem router just took a dive, so I had to replace that. So let me give a summary where we're at with Greg. I can see Greg's computer over on this other screen. He is watching the video, so I'm sure he's hearing that. And Greg, I'm going to call up your log me in chat window here so you can just give me a confirmation that you can hear me, please. And Greg will be able to type messages to me in that chat window, but I can't hear him. And he has responded, yes, he can hear me. And let's see. Okay, so yesterday, I had all this in my mind about how we we're going to start when I was going to talk about where I think we should go with this today. And now I'm trying to remember the last thing that he did at the end of the day was attempting to install, I believe that was a Windows 20H2 from, it wasn't from the, was it from the media creation tool? But anyway, he came up with an error and he reported to me by email what that error was. And he's typing a message here. We'll display in a moment. I'm going to let him finish typing that. All right. And Greg, when I switch to your screen to show that message, I'm going to minimize your YouTube so I can show it to the folks. So just leave your YouTube minimized for a minute. You should still be hearing us. So here's what he says. I made a new media creation tool on the use last night. It gave me an error. I can show you. Yeah, Greg, go ahead and bring up the whatever you can show us for the error rather than me showing it to them from your email. He's got it in Paint 3D. Wonderful idea. Probably a screenshot. Win10 error. He's loading that photo. Yeah, oh, wonderful. He's going to zoom in so we can see it better. We couldn't install Windows 10. We've set your PC back to the way it was right before you started installing Windows 10. And then he's got an error message. The installation failed in the safe OS phase with an error during replicate OC operation. Okay, so let me comment on this, and then I'll talk about where I think we should go next. And Greg's only going to be able to respond by typing. The installation failed in safe OS. We know OS is operating system. Yeah, leave that message there, Greg. The installation failed in the safe OS phase with an error during replicate OC operation. So that's indicating an error at a time during this operation that should really not be very dependent on all these other nuances we've been chasing. I'm very highly of the opinion that we've been like the dog chasing its tail, trying this possible tweak, this possible tweak, that possible tweak, and my mind goes to Occam's razor. Some of you may be familiar with Occam's razor. Basically says when all else is equal, the simplest solution is most likely the correct. And I'm kind of paraphrasing it. I'm saying it from memory. Windows 10 updates, for the most part, work pretty well. Windows 10, for the most part, works pretty well. We have hair-pulling, frustrating experiences when we get into rather obscure situations, and Microsoft puts a lot of time and energy into trying to fix those issues, and they keep coming out with updates to fix these various obscure issues. So I think we may be having an obscure issue. We could be having a hardware issue. The obscure issue could be related to something about the various things that Greg has in terms of hardware and software. And there is this arrow tweaker that makes his desktop look like an older version of Windows. I'm not saying that's at fault. I do not know what's at fault. I do not care where the fault lies. What I do care about is finding our quickest path to finding the solution. Now, in a computer consultant environment working for a paying client, obviously at this point we should do a Fabs auto backup to back up his user profile, do a fresh install of Windows 20 H2, and then restore his profile. That's the shortest amount of time to assuredly get him up and running. But because of who I think Greg is, and because of who I know I am, we'd like to get this pinned down a little bit better. Some of you are from Kerry Holzman's channel, and you may recall the time when he discovered, I don't remember what it was, the Y4K bug or the Y8K bug. He had a name for it, and it was basically when the BIOS had a incorrect date, an incorrect year on it that was way unreasonably high. I don't remember, it was, he pinned it down to where it was 2048 or something, way high. And if the BIOS had ever experienced that high date, and if a hard drive had been formatted while that BIOS was set for that date, the Windows would not install. And then he would change the date back and try to reformat. I think even then it wouldn't work. I'm not going to try to recite exactly what the fix was, but he discovered a very obscure, bizarre combination of events on that particular brand of motherboard. Now, we could have something very bizarre and weird here, and our only way of finding that is to take the approach that I'm about to suggest. It's a totally irresponsible approach to take for a business client who needs a quick turnaround. What I'd like to do is, we know that Greg has an Acronis image backup. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with Acronis. In our previous videos, I've been talking about proving that his USB memory stick will reboot the computer to Acronis, and we proved that it would not because it was actually a Windows 10 installation USB. Well, since then, I realized we don't have to do this with a USB memory stick. I'm assuming that Acronis can do the same thing that I can do with Macrium backup, Macrium Reflect backup, where we can install the software on the current drive and perform a restore operation from backup media from the installed version of the software without ever having to boot to USB media. That works really slick, really easy. I have not tried doing that with Acronis. What I'd like to do is install a free version of Macrium Reflect Backup so that we have an image backup through the software that I know will do this. And then, after we try to fix the computer, we'll attempt to do the restore from Acronis if we wind up needing to. And if that does not work, then we can do the restore with Macrium Reflect. Now, a side benefit to that is that allows us to produce a series of videos here in this playlist that's probably going to be titled with Greg's name somehow, that will kind of give a side-by-side comparison of Acronis and Macrium Reflect. And I'd love to have that as a resource for us as the tech community. Now, okay, so all I talked about there was how to do the backup and restore. What I haven't told you is what I really want to do to try to track down this problem. Once we have our image backup safe and secure, then what I want to do is do a fresh install of Windows 10 1909. That's what Greg currently has on his computer. So get a fresh install of Windows 10 1909. We are absolutely certain that that will work, right? Well, unless Greg's computer has developed a hardware problem where that even fails. If that even fails, then we're really going to be focusing in on hardware. I really doubt that that's going to be the case. But we can install Windows 10 1909 and then perform the upgrade all the way up to Windows 10 20H2. If we can prove that that works, then we will have proved there's absolutely nothing wrong with Greg's hardware. Then we can go look closer at the software. The next thing that I would go to look at.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
That was Siri interrupting. Okay. The thing that I'm have a question mark in my mind about Greg's configuration is this extra tweak that he has on top of Windows that makes his Windows desktop function like the an older version of Windows. I'm not saying that's at fault, but what I am saying is I have experienced many bizarre conflicts that do not make sense. So you can't just say, well, it doesn't make sense that would be a conflict. Things that don't seem to make sense can be a conflict. I've seen that over and over, and I think somebody in, I think it was William. Yeah, William Dawson's, his chat comment a little while back, even Epson printer, was a similar thing. So that can happen. Now, some of you may be thinking that we cannot install Windows 10 1909. Yes, we can. I have not done it using this technique before. And I'm going to test the chat rooms. How many we got now? We got 15, either 13 or 15. It's showing me two different numbers. But there's a way that we can install Windows 10 1909 and even older. So I want to give the chat room a chance to say what it is. The name of the product, the middle letter in the name of the product is the letter F, as in fix it. And so if you know what that product is, go ahead and type it into the chat, and I'll tell you what that product is in a minute. But there's a product that we can use to create an installation media to Greg's USB memory stick to install Windows 10 1909. And then we can do upgrades from there. So let me go catch up with chat here. Let's see, there's last one I think I did was William Dawson, Cocoa, Florida, 130, Philip, Westchester, 131, Greg Guy. I agree, I have a new media creation tool with H2 that I made last night. Okay, well that's fine with H2, but what I want to do is get 1909. Yes, I saw that. Greg says, yes, I saw that we had wrong BIOS date. Okay, on Kerry's video. Sane Goat, I remember that stream. He had to set the date in BIOS, yes. William Doug, now catch this. Is it possible that we're about to discover some other obscure problem and that Microsoft might be able to go after it? That'd be kind of fun. A little bit of dreaming maybe, but that would be fun. William Dawson, the year 100,000, 10,000. My eyes have difficulty with a bunch of zeros together, either 10,000, 100,000. Will cause problems for Windows, at least Windows it did. And Greg, I can disable Win Arrow Tweaker again. Well, Greg, I actually would rather uninstall it, and I would also pose that it's possible we still might have trouble even if you uninstall it, because your computer has experienced having that installed. And I have never met an uninstallation program yet that said again, I have yet to meet a program that cleanly uninstalls itself. There are always tracks left over. So we don't know what it might leave over. So if we were to uninstall it and then problem solved, then yeah, that's the fault. But if we were to uninstall it and still have the problem, it still could be the fault of Win Arrow Tweaker. So that's kind of a gamble as to whether that approach is going to fix it. But one of my rules when a troubleshooting experience gets difficult is find something that works. Let's see, was it fish or cut bait? No, cut bait or go home is the saying. To me, that phrase, picture an old geezer like me and a young kid out fishing, and the kid doesn't want to cut bait and put it on the hook. He just wants to throw the hook out. And I turn to him and I say, hey, cut bait or go home. If you're not going to take the time to do it right, to really be able to catch the fish, then go home. So in this scenario, cut bait to me means go back to something that we absolutely believe will work and prove that that works. And then take intermediate steps. We could go uninstall Arrow Tweaker, but I don't have high level of confidence that that's going to work, because that's just throwing one more dart. We've been throwing darts, trying to hit that target on that wall, but we've been blindfolded and we've been turned around. We don't even know which way the wall is, or even if we're in the same building as the wall. Okay, catching up, going back to chat. What was the result after the install from yesterday? Greg displayed the error message. He got an error message with Windows OS in safe mode that it encountered an error. And I looked up the error message and it was generic. It did not go to any really good solution. And figure this, anytime Windows gives us an error message that something fails, if they know why it fails, they're going to fix that. Most of the error messages Windows gives us, when you go search it, you get answers like, well, try this, or you can try this, or try that. And sometimes if you look, like if it's a forum you're looking at, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see some messages that says, yes, that fixed it, thank you. Another one says, yes, you saved my marriage, thank you, that fixed it. And then another one has someone else saying you fixed it. I did search the message that Greg got as a result of what he did yesterday. The first two hits from Google were forums, and they were try this, try that, you could do this, you could do this, and I scrolled down to the bottom and everybody was saying, I tried that, it didn't work. I tried that, it didn't work. There were no solutions. So the error message doesn't give us any help. All right, so then what was the result after install? That was from Sam. Then Atex, great videos. Everyone give him a like if you enjoy this content. Thank you for making that comment. Atex, Philip Musto, did you check the hard drive with crystal disk info? Well, no, we have not. I'd rather wait and try to install the fresh 1909. And if that fails, then yes, we're going to be looking at hardware. Because there are other possible hardware issues, not just the disk. His primary drive is an M.2, and that's really rare for those to fail. William Dawson, Windows 7, it did. Yeah, you think you're referring to a previous comment. I'm not going to try to decipher that. Greg, I agree, leaves reg entries. That would have been about nothing correctly uninstalls itself. Atex, I agree with Philip, would check hard disk drive first. Sam, Atex, in this case it's an SSD, right, it's an M.2. Greg, Guy, I ran, checked this, found no errors, okay. Atex, interesting, okay. Greg, I have IOBIR ASC, it cleans the reg, I run it every week. Now actually reg cleaners, I'm a little skeptical of them. They can cause trouble as much as help, because keep in mind, Windows updates, Microsoft first does their updates and their fixes and their patches for their stuff, their operating system, and then as their product gets tested internally, yes, they do test internally, and then it goes out to, what do they call them now? There's 3 different rings. The updates go out months before the general population gets the updates. And there's testing, and there's corporate environment testings, and Microsoft does fixes and patches. But by the time it gets out to the general public, who probably has different setup than what those large corporate institutions have, then more problems are found. So a reg cleaner, how well has reg cleaner tested themselves against Windows 10 20H2? Well, I'm skeptic on that. Boot in clean mode. We have disabled everything that's running in the background and still have troubles. TH Cosin, just Microsoft services will run. Run setup under clean admin account. We're pretty darn close to that now, really. William Dawson, often a simple picture can fix a network issue when it seems too many problems to solve down to one. So the simple, actually, William, the simple picture is what I'm looking to get at rather quickly. Because remember, hey, an M.2 installs Windows 10 really quick. Should not take long. And even the image backups are quick. Should not take long. We get a good Acronis image backup and a Macrium Reflect backup. Now, the only reason why I want that is because I have experience restoring images from Macrium Reflect. I do not yet have experience restoring images from Acronis. I'd like to get that experience. I'd like for us to go that way first. So once we got those image backups, then we create a USB memory stick installation for Windows 10 1909 and have Greg install that, expecting it will install clean. Then come into the Zoom session. I connect remote to his computer. We perform the upgrades all the way through 20H2. I suspect, I think everybody in the chat room probably expects that'll work. It should work. But if it doesn't, then we're on to something that is very important for the community to find out about and for Microsoft to know about, and maybe they can fix it. It would be reproducible because they have Greg's list of components. Unless there's an actual hardware failure, then we can go after the hardware. You know what? And I see Sam saying that will take a while. It will take a while, but I don't think it'll take as long as you might be assuming. Because we're in the days of Greg doesn't have a lot on his C drive, and he's got an M.2 drive. So I don't think it's going to take that long. And his backup drive is internal. Greg, I think it's even an SSD. Is your backup drive an internal SSD? Greg's got a message on his screen about an audio alert in his microphone. So now Greg is also having this trouble now with his webcam and his microphone not working. What's up with that? I think there might be emotional baggage in Greg's operating system, which we can figure out. I see Greg is typing his response. You'll see it in chat in a moment. He says, yes, it's a crucial M500 256 gigabyte, which is my D drive. Okay, so Greg, I'm going to switch to your computer now. Actually, Greg, tell me first, when I minimize your YouTube, you can still hear me. Is that correct? I see a use msconfig computer setup from TH Cosin. Not sure what you're referring to there. Yeah, Greg says yes, he can hear me. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize his YouTube, minimize his browser, and we'll go look at some capacity things. Here's that error message. For those of you who hadn't seen the error message yet, this is the error message that Greg got when he tried to do that install from, it wasn't yesterday, it was 2 days ago. It says, we've set your PC back the way it was right before you started installing Windows 10 and gave that error number. The installation failed in safe OS phase with an error during replicate OC operation. So I did Google search for that, and all I got was forums with suggestions, try this, try that, and nobody saying they got a good result. And I think this message would probably be generated for a whole realm of different problems. Now let's see, we're looking at his Paint 3D right now that's displaying this image. So I'm going to minimize Paint 3D. So here we're at Greg's desktop, and I want to check our sizes and capacities. So here his C drive is 174 gigabytes free of 209 gigabytes. So the content on his C drive is 35 gigabytes. Okay, everything we do is going to go real fast in terms of backups and restores. His D drive is 226 gigabytes, so there's tons of space to be performing operations. So I'm going to close this window, and Greg, since you're more familiar with Acronis than I am requesting right now, go into Acronis True Image and perform a fresh full image backup. Preferably do not overwrite your older image backup, because this image backup now is going to have the emotional baggage of all the things we've been trying to do over the last few days. And so it's quite possible we might want to go back to the older image. And if you need to ask me any questions, Greg, you could go into the Log Me In chat window. Otherwise, just go ahead and maneuver your way around. And he's showing us here, I think, the folder where he's got those backups stored. Looking in the files on the root level of the D drive, there's his weekly backup, shows March 14th. Yeah, see, that weekly backup has a name to it. I'd like for you to go ahead and do a fresh full image backup right now. It shouldn't take very long. It's probably going to be 10 or 15 minutes with because your small content and your M.2 and your SSD backup drive. I do not want to accept that as your backup. We'll keep that backup. Don't delete it. That's good. Create a folder. So he's going to create a folder to perhaps keep all the, or put the old backup in. Okay. So that way, just in case the fresh backup uses that same name, it won't overwrite that backup. So he's copy, all right. And then right click and paste it into this new folder. All right. And Greg, what was the size of that backup again? Was it just 1 gigabyte? Did it compress that much? Show us the size of that backup again before you go forward. Weekly backup. Can you expand that column so we can see what the abbreviation is? It's KB. Okay, megabyte. It's only 1 gigabyte. Is that right? That's an extreme compression. That's a weekly backup. Is that actually a full backup, or is that an incremental backup? You don't really have to answer that. Just go ahead into Acronis. Let's see that it's a full image backup that you're doing now. Oh, he's deleting. Are you deleting it? Really? I want you to be able to get back to that if we need it. I'd rather you just leave that there and go do a fresh full image backup with Acronis. Okay, so backup now, be sure to point out where it indicates that it's a full backup, not an incremental or whatever that other word is. Where do we see full? It says backing up, calculating backup time. Last backup shows a date. Add backup. NVMe Samsung, calculating remaining time. Let's see, we do not have the checkbox selected for shut down the computer after completion. That's as we want it. Okay, I got the mouse for a moment, Greg, okay? All right, I'm not sure how long the delay is. I think our delay should only be about maybe 10 seconds. The only option there is stop. Okay, so I think when the backup is not running, we could go in and edit the backup configuration to see a confirmation that this is indeed a full backup. here we're seeing, let's see, the pictures, showing us how much in pictures, how much in videos. Greg's got the, yeah, I see the word full backup there, but that's the name of the backup. It probably, and it looks like that name is generated by Acronis, so I think that's likely true. Less than a minute to complete. Look, that backup was so fast. Okay, I got the mouse for a moment. I want to see here on this drop down. Yeah, see all of this? Clone setting, cleanup version, up, open locations, search files, move clone settings, rename, validate, clone settings. Let's see, what does options say? Okay, weekly, backup scheme, incremental. See, that's it. It says incremental. It does not say full. That is not a full backup. Incremental backup version stores the changes that have occurred since last version. Create a full version every 5 incremental versions. So that means every 5 times you do it, you're going to get a full backup. Delete versions older than 183 days. Do not complete. All right. Let me move this out of the way. Notifications, exclusions, all these files are being excluded, and that's temp files and caches and hibernation file and the swap file. That's fine to exclude all of that stuff. And then advanced things, doing sector by sector, we don't need that. We don't need password protection and so on. And then here's a schedule, so it does weekly and advanced settings here. Wake up, sleeping, no, prevent, going to sleep, fine. So backup scheme. Yeah, see, I do not like this. Now, if we come over here and add a backup, so this is going to be full one-time backup. So see, this is just a name of a backup over here. Full one-time backup. Select destination, your external drive. We're not going to an external drive, we're going to an internal drive. It's on this PC, and it's the D drive. And I'm going to create a new folder there and call it Acronis Backups. And then, so we have that selected. Click OK. And there's back. It is not recommended to back up a partition to itself. Oh, let's see. I haven't told it what partitions to back up. We only wanted to back up the C drive. This is full one to, oh, look at that. It even, well, that's just a schedule. That's not the scheme. The scheme is incremental scheme. So I'm going to do a single version scheme. This program creates a single full backup version and overwrites it every time. Full backup version is showing us the scheme, deleting previous full version. Where do we select what we want to back up? I don't want to back up the D drive, just the C drive. That's which scheme to choose. Is it in the scheme? This is telling us about backup schemes. You know what? I'll bet the full backup scheme automatically backs up all internal hard drives. So maybe we don't want single version scheme. Version chain incremental custom. How about custom? Backup method full. Difference between methods. Is somebody in chat telling me where to pick the C drive only? I believe it just Backing up its files, not the total hard drive. I have to click the source at the main page where you made the destination path. Source at the main page where you made the destination path. Source at the main page where you made the destination path. Backups, full one time. Okay, let's start again. Add backup. If you leave this window, the current settings will be lost. That's fine. And the default name is desktop. That's select destination. Oh, here it is. Yeah, here, I think this is what you're referring to as the main page. Full one-time C image. Full one-time C image. It's saying 40 gigabytes of data selected. I'm going to open an Explorer window and see properties, 35 gigabytes, 45 gigabytes. So that could be, it could, 40 gigabytes here, it could be including both. Disks, files, mobile devices, and cloud services are also available. Change source. There it is. When I put the mouse over here, I get change source. Disks and partitions. Beautiful. Not entire PC. I want a full image of the C drive, not just files on the C drive. So I'm going to remove check marks for the D drive. So here's the C drive, 35 gigabytes. So that looks like a full image. "35 gigabytes of data selected," and it actually identifies it as the NVMe drive. That sounds good. Select destination. It's not an external drive, it's an internal drive. It's on this PC. Double click. The D drive, click on the plus sign next to D drive, click on Acronis Backups, and okay. So there's shows us the folder that's going to, and then there's a backup now button. All right, so chat window, go ahead and start giving me some responses there. Do you concur, or am I missing something? Because I have not been keeping up with your comments. So some of you put in your response that you think I'm on the right track here, or give me some kind of correction. I'm going to look at your comments. Check privacy settings. That goes back to the camera and the microphone. 500 megabits speed. Under services, hide Microsoft services. Task manager, disable startup items. Sounds like those are trying to fix the camera microphone issues. 1 gig too low for full backup. I agree with you, Sam, there. And install 5 gigs on its own, right? Another way to do it, diagnostic startup. In the general tab, I believe you're just backing up files, not the total drive. You have to click on the source, the main page. Yes, this computer, yes. Make full backup to change source and destination. Click the overview again. Yes, that's good. You should be on the right path. Seems to be the right backup config. I'd run it now. So it looks like you guys are agreeing with me now. I'm going to bring up Greg's log me in chat. Greg, if you just give me a concur message there. Yes, good. Yes, good. VA. You're straining my brain now. I don't know what VA is. I'm going to assume that you're just saying go. Oh, video and audio. Oh, okay. So you're seeing me and hearing me. All right, fine. All right. So back up now. If you guys like to compete with each other in the chat, you could say how long you think this backup's going to take. So here I'm clicking back up now. You can close Cronus True Image. Backup will continue in the background. Calculating time remaining. I don't see anybody typing in the chat their commitment for how long they think this is going to take. You know what? Sometimes I might be having my picture-in-picture in your way. What I'd like to do is at some point have what I might call assistant directors having my text phone number so that you can alert me when I need to fix something. I'm getting a text message from Tim. You've seen him in other videos for those of you who have been watching. It says, how much do you know about a flash drive for Ready Boost? Does it actually work or bad idea? Okay, I'm going to give my reply to Tim vocally here. So I don't really know, period. I'm in a live YouTube session right now. Why don't you join us? All right. So I see Sam is responding to the Ready Boost question. Tim's question to me on text message was, how much do you know about using a flash drive for Ready Boost? Does it actually work or bad idea? I'm thinking that's some kind of utility to make a flash drive work faster. Yeah, Sam, I don't really know what he's referring to there, but his question was, how much do you know? I could have said 5 inches worth. I don't know. How do you measure knowledge? Oh, it just finished, didn't it? Okay. About 5 to 10 minutes, William was saying, and Dan the man said 10 minutes, and it looks like it was actually how long? Backup is completed successfully. Does it say how long it took? Next backup at 2:13 p.m. 3:27. Others, 19 systems. I don't know. It was pretty quick. I think it was less than 5. Wow, like 2 minutes, Dan says. Yeah, I was figuring that was going to be fast. Okay, now I'm still not totally sold on my confidence level about Acronis. I am going to do an installation right now of Macrium Reflect. They have a free version for personal use, and it's quick to use. I'm very familiar with it, and this way, for those of you interested, you see how to get to it. So we'll come back to the browser. Greg Favors. All right, my brain's starting to fade. I even forgot the name of the browser. Go to macrium.com, if memory serves me right. And then Macrium Reflect, upgraded Macrium Reflect, standalone products, business use, and personal home edition. Now it's actually the same software, whether you're using it for personal or business use. They have a free edition for personal use, and that's what we're going to use here. I purchase licenses for this often when it's going to be an ongoing, relied upon backup purposes. And I usually have it in my tools. Thumb drive. Well, okay, well, I'll just click on the download 30-day trial. No, I don't want to do, see, that's why I don't want to do this, because they require an email address. Where was they have a download without? Okay, come down here, personal free edition. So products, personal free edition. And we're going to download it without giving them an email address. Okay, home use. Here we go. Still want an email address. They might have changed this to where you can no longer. Oh, wait a minute. I know how I can find it. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. I think I've got this elsewhere. That we can still do this the way I want to do it. I just heard a doorbell. I think maybe Tim's coming into their Zoom session. Download. No, it's not there. All right. I think they've changed that here. Okay, Greg, would you mind go ahead and put in your email address there? And I'm going to switch away from your computer so we're not exposing your email address on video. And I'm going to take a look and see. Yeah, I do see Tim has come into the session. And Tim, hang on a moment, because we're going to be getting up to a point here where I'm going to let Tim tell us what he's asking about that question. So there is Greg's address. And so bringing Greg's computer back online. Well, there I did expose your address. We will not use this to communicate with you until you've indicated your preferences. We will never sell or pass your details. Okay, that's good. Would you like to receive occasional news? I'm going to assume you want no on that and click continue. Thank you for registering and follow instructions to continue. And then is something happening? Is there a download happening? Let's go home use again. It's wanting that again. I didn't see a download happen. There's no download button. Greg, if you see what I'm doing wrong, go ahead and take the mouse and go to it. I don't see it anywhere. All right, let's try that again. Greg, your computer's off screen again, even though I already exposed briefly your email address, but go ahead and put it in again. Let's try this again. Optional registered download. So entering his email address. And then, let's see, we will not use, you can read, continue. So go ahead and click continue, Greg. Looks like we got about a 5-second delay. That's how long it took. And then answer no to that. And then continue. Did I miss a download button somewhere? Please check. Oh, check your email. It's telling you there to check your email and follow the instructions within to continue. So you're not on camera right now, Greg. Go ahead and do that. And let's see if I can bring Tim on screen. Let's get to the right one here. Where? Zoom meeting in progress. It should be here. Zoom meeting. There's Tim. Tim, you're on camera now. You're on video. And let's bring your microphone up. Can you unmute yourself, Tim?
There. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, Tim, you're on YouTube Live right now.
Cool.
So you were asking about the Ready Boost, and a couple people were trying to respond to that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, are you watching the YouTube video?
I can't right now. I got too much going on, so I can go back and look at it later.
All right, well, you were asking about some kind of Ready Boost. Was that to make a USB stick run faster?
No. I was editing photos again, and I did a batch process, and what about this Ready Boost feature? But I had to reformat the USB drive and make it an NTF something.
NTFS.
I forget the acronyms.
Yeah.
Yes. And told I wanted to use for Ready Boost, and I decided to try this as an experiment to see if this helps out the photo software that I've been using. And it seems to be helping a little. I can't tell.
Yeah. Well, you asked how much I know about it, and I think my response is a half an inch. I don't know anything about it. So I think some people were responding in the chat. Let's see. Ready Boost in Windows 10 question mark. Ready Boost has true value. It was a part of Windows 7. I don't know why you would do a Ready Boost in this time. It was a technology used back in Windows 7 time.
Yes, it was.
That's all the responses we got for Ready Boost. Well, it looks like Greg's ready for me again here, so I think I'll let you go, Tim.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for popping in.
Sure.
Bye. All right. So, Greg, we're back on your computer now, and you got to the point of downloading, and it shows up here you selected the free version, and it has a download location and downloading component. So I will continue driving after that's done. And then we've got click next to extract the setup files. Welcome to Macrium Reflect Free Edition Wizard Setup. I accept the terms. Next. We want the home edition. The commercial edition, it truly is a free edition for commercial use, but they force you to put in a email address. Well, you already saw that being forced, but the copy that I have downloaded to my tools memory stick does not. So register this installation. No, I'm going to remove that check mark and click next. There are some functionalities that are missing by using the free version. I may talk about that later. Desktop shortcut, yeah, we'll take that. And then install. So the paid version allows you to configure it to send emails to you for successful or failed backups, or both. Launch now, yes. The free version also lets you do differential backups. I'm sorry, the paid version lets you do differential backups. The free version can only do incremental backups, or full backups, of course. And they both do scheduling. So here we're on the backup tab, and I'm going to remove the check mark for the, that's the NVMe drive, and remove the check mark for the SSD drive. So this is the drive that we're going to do the backup onto, and this is the drive that we want to back up. And that's interesting. There's 23 gigabytes of unused space on that drive. And it's only, it's using 35 gigabytes. All right. So now you see this solid line around here? That means this image this disk option is going to be for imaging this. So we got to click down here and watch this area right here. Click down here. Now those options are down here because we want to image this disk, not that one. So click on image this disk. Now we're not going to clone. Clone would be when we want to make make this disk the exact same image as this. That's not what we're after. We want to do an image. I recently did that with Tim on another video. So then we're going to choose the folder where we want to store the image. We'll go expand this PC, scroll down to the D drive, single click on the D drive, click Make New Folder, and Macrium Reflect, spelling counts, backups. Press Enter. Now I've selected that, click OK, confirms in here that it is selected that folder, and it defaults to the image ID. I usually don't like to keep that because I want to be a little more descriptive. So I'm going to call this Greg C. Let's see, let's call it Win10 hyphen 20 HK fails to install. So we don't know where this is going. We don't know where we're going to wind up with this later today or tomorrow. Could it be that we might want to get back to this edition to further narrow down what is the problem with that installation? So that's why I like to be very specific about what this image is. And then click Next. Advanced options very rarely need, but I'll just give you a peek at that. Compression, file size, password, yada, yada, yada. And then click Next. And then here, this area is just if we want to schedule this. We don't need to schedule this. We don't care about retention rules. We're just going to ignore all that. We don't need to deal with any of that stuff when we're just trying to do a one-time image. So I click Next. And now this is showing us a summary of what it's about to do. Now it's going to be interesting to see if this is slower or faster than the Acronis. Although with a total time around 2 minutes, I don't know if that's relevant. It could be a completely different experience with a backup that takes 45 minutes to run. No matter which program is faster now, they could swap places with a longer backup based upon overhead time. So clicking Finish, and then gives us a chance to run this backup now and save it. No, I'm not gonna save it. We'll run it now, but I'm not gonna save it because I want us to do fresh backup configuration if we do this again. So how long do you think it's gonna take? I'm gonna go take a look at the chat again. Ready boost, ready build, wow, like 2 minutes. Has no, Sam, I don't know why you do ready boost. 10 minute, I would just use 10-minute mail to download that. That's a website for temp mail. Oh, I see. I understand what you're saying, Sam. And William says he used free email account for registering, things like that. Understood. Sam, looks like Greg is using an MBR format and only have 2 partitions. Says to me that he is using a legacy BIOS and not a UEFI BIOS. Good catch, good point. That may explain why he don't get that options with restart buttons. That may explain why he doesn't get that option with restart. Oh, I think you're referring to the advanced restart options to be able to reboot to USB. I think I've been able to get those advanced options even with MBR partitions. But good catch to point out that he's using MBR partitions. Now he may have I'm sure he has a UEFI BIOS because he built this computer. It's a custom built computer based off of Kerry Holzman's videos. And those are always UEFI BIOS. However, it might not be configured. What is that option that you have to configure for how the hard drive is managed? Yeah, I'm not remembering it quite offhand. Yeah, it does show MBR disk right here. Good catch. So that is the old way of doing things. Could that be causing a glitch with upgrading to 20H2? I find that hard to believe that 20H2 is excluding MBR. But when Greg does a fresh install of Windows 10 on his M.2, he could reconfigure the BIOS so that that is done with a UEFI drive type. I'm not remembering the terminology quite correct there, but that is a good point. 3 minutes, Dan the Man says. And what are we approaching here? See, this graph doesn't tell us how long it's been going, but at the end, I believe it tells us at the bottom here how long it took. Or even, I think it's a pop-up dialog window. But you're seeing here that, I was saying that I didn't think this was going to take long to do 2 images, and indeed it's not. It gives me a huge comfort level with taking this kind of approach, because I know that I can do a full image restore without having a USB bootable disk. 3 minutes, 32 seconds. Dan the Man, I think you just showed why you are Dan the Man. You said 3 minutes, and I'll say 3 minutes, 32 seconds. You called it. Sweet. I don't know that we really got an authoritative time on how long Acronis took, but of course you could go back later and watch the video to compare the two. But again, I think that's totally irrelevant. If one was faster than the other, it's totally irrelevant. It could be a completely different story when you're doing an hour-long backup. And, what does that matter anyway? Okay, so clicking OK there. Now, a while ago, I'm going to stop talking for a minute and shut this down, because talking and doing at the same time isn't always a good idea. Here, let's go look at the Macrium. Oh, that's the Macrium download. I'm going to go look at those 2 folders. And they're on the D drive. Again, like I told you, thinking and clicking at the same time doesn't always work well. There's Acronis backups. What was our total size after we got a true full image? 17 gigabytes, much more believable than that 1 gigabyte. And then Macrium Reflect backups. 22 gigabytes. So the Macrium Reflect backup also backed up the downloaded and installed version of Macrium. So of course it was larger in part for that reason. Okay, I see Greg going for Mozilla Firefox or Zoom. Or chat. There you go. That's where you can chat to me, Greg. So he's going to ask a question or make a comment. Should we check the Win10 settings for the camera? Believe it got restored to default. If you've got a mind where you want to go for that, go ahead, Greg. We will watch and I will try to narrate. He's going into settings, PC settings. He thinks he's going to be able to fix the camera. And devices, system. Taking a look at, well, no, I better keep watching Greg. I was going to look at chat, but no. Oh, Your audio 922 Pro StreamCam showed up on that screen. That was a surprise. It wasn't showing up before. Privacy options, let websites, let windows. Allow apps to access your camera. Is that turned off? Camera access for this device on. Okay, this looks kind of promising. So now turn on for apps to be able to access your camera. I think you're looking good. How about is Zoom shown in that list down below? That list down below, is there a Zoom app? Go scroll down. Scroll down, way down, get down, down, keep going down, keep going down. Zoom meetings is on. All right. That looks good. All right, so let's see if you can get into the Zoom meeting. Failed to detect your microphone. How about privacy settings for your microphone? I'm glancing at chat. Windows only let GPT installs happen when you use UEFI BIOS. Yeah, but there's a setting within the UEFI BIOS. I'm sure he has a UEFI BIOS. Don't know if there's a problem with that in the upgrade. William, it all comes down to the software you want to use for backups. Good point, William, whichever one you prefer. Of course, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Acronis does not have a free version. I would not quibble over that. I think if you're going to be using a backup software to back up your computer on an ongoing basis, you ought to pay for it. If you feel you can't justify paying for it, then Macrium Reflect Backup is providing a free copy and letting you use it. Hats off to them if their intention is to make sure you're getting backed up, whether or not you're willing to pay for it. But I highly encourage people to pay for their backup software. It is worth it. Failed to detect your microphone. Well, we're about to take a more extreme measure with your computer, so we don't really have to fix that now, Greg. You can go back to the chat for log me in and let me know if you're ready for me to tell you what I want to do next. And he says, okay. Well, you know what, Christoph, he's suggesting to go ahead and try Zoom and see if the camera's working. And I do like that idea. That's just my technical curiosity. Is the camera working now? Let's try it. Whoops, I went the wrong way. Join a meeting. Oh, join a meeting's not available. What's up with that? Oh, leave meeting. Oh, that's because you're in the leave. Oh, you're in the meeting. Okay, cancel that. I'm sorry. Just let's go restore your Zoom window. I gotta drag it over here a little bit, and then I can exit minimized, and then go try to. Let's look first to see if your camera shows up. It does show up there. Now let's click on here and see if we can start the camera. Yes. There is camera. So let me switch to the Zoom meeting. So there's Greg. Greg, you can wave hello. And then if I try.
Hello.
Oh, Greg, I got your audio.
See me a little bit better. Hello.
I got you on audio.
I got your audio. See me a little bit better. Hello. I got you on audio. I got your audio. See me a little bit better.
Okay. So I gotta switch to your YouTube video and mute that. There. I just muted your YouTube video. You should be able to hear me. Greg, can you hear me? I don't think you can. Let's try that again. Greg, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes, he can. All right.
Okay.
And we got echoing again. Let's try that. Okay, so I muted the audio on your YouTube video. You should be hearing me on audio through Zoom. You're not. All right, so then I'm going to switch your computer back to the Zoom meeting. Ay, caramba. Speaker. Your speakers might be set on the wrong thing. Let's see if changing your speakers for
There
Zoom.
you go.
Now
There
you
you-
can hear me.
Yeah, hear you and see you fine, loud and clear.
Okay, so can I show? Yeah, on YouTube, what I did is his speakers was set to this setting, and I just changed him to here. So now he can hear me through
The camera.
the Zoom meeting. And I've got the Zoom meeting punched up in the YouTube video, so they're seeing us side by side right now, not seeing your computer. So now let me tell you what I am proposing to do next with your computer. We've got 2 good image backups. Were you surprised to find out that you actually did not have a full image backup with Acronis?
I'm not intimately familiar with Acronis.
All right.
I just left the default settings the way
Yeah.
they were, just changed the target and the destination.
Yeah, I don't know how it looked like you did the default settings, and it looks by default that it does a periodical full backup, and then periodically after that it does incremental backups. So we never did go look to see if the full backup was still on your drive, but that is its default.
There was only one backup file on the D drive from Acronis.
Yeah, so I don't
that
think
was an incremental. It said
Yeah.
it did it every 5 times, a full backup.
Right. But which means that it should keep the full backup and then create additional incremental backups as separate
Right.
files.
But there was only one, so I think it was an incremental.
Yeah, but an incremental doesn't do you any good.
No.
If you don't have it full, the incremental doesn't do you any good. You're not going to be able
No.
to restore an image from that. Okay. And one of the comments in the chat did say that they thought that it was only backing up files for you. I'm not sure that we saw that or not. Now, okay, so what I'm proposing to do next, and I never did see anybody come up in chat with the tool that will let us install Windows 10 1909 on your computer. That's what is my favorite way to go about this, because I want to try to prove that your computer will upgrade just fine from Windows 1909 all the way up to 20H2.
Right.
If you do a clean install of 1909 and you're unable to upgrade to 20H2, then that tells us there's something about the upgrade to 20H2 that is not compatible somehow with your computer. If it does succeed, then that means the upgrade to 20H2 is somehow incompatible with the current state of your computer, with all of its emotional baggage. And I use that term to just say whatever things you've installed, uninstalled, configuration changes, or whatever.
I do remember seeing in the past under Windows that it was set to an MBR legacy. I can't remember where I saw that at.
It seems to me that in the UEFI BIOS, there's an option somewhere to choose legacy mode or UEFI mode. So if you're to reboot the computer and get it, well, now wait a minute, you have one of Carrie's motherboards. We should be able to get into the UEFI BIOS from within Windows.
I think so.
Yes. Let's figure out how to do that. And if somebody in chat can help us get to that, because I don't know offhand, we'll go ahead and poke around a little bit. I'm going to bring your computer back up on screen and minimize your Zoom window. And then also minimize your YouTube. And close the File Explorer. Minimize the Zoom meeting. And minimize the chat window for Log Me and Rescue.
Okay.
Now, the BIOS interface within Windows. What motherboard is it?
Asus X470F, as in Frank.
Asus X470F. So I'm looking through. I don't recognize anything here as being a way to access BIOS. And I rarely work with custom built computers. My streaming computer is a custom built computer, but it's really old, and it's not going to be a Cronus, obviously. So I'm going to turn to chat and see if anybody tells me how to access.
Isn't it, start, settings?
Go ahead and poke around yourself. I'm looking at chat to see if somebody comes
Isn't
up.
it under here, under recovery?
Well, no, that's not what we want to do right now. I'll explain that. What that would do is you could choose an option in there to restart to BIOS mode, but don't do it. Don't do it. We're gonna lose you. That's not accessing the BIOS from within Windows. That's actually restarting and going to BIOS, and he has done that. And maybe that's the only way to get there. You should make sure you reinstall Windows C drive, not the D drive. Yes. Because the backup is now saved to D. Yes. Maybe an external backup would be safe too. Yeah, fair point. Because we're not going to be able to be watching him do that install. And then Christoph, update security, then advanced restart. Well, yeah, that's what he did, but we can't see him anymore. So that's not accessing the BIOS from within Windows. So I'm going to punch up a different camera here and then Windows D to get to my desktop. And do I have that on my computer? Let's see, it was... See, if he doesn't have the application installed for accessing his BIOS settings from Windows, then he's not going to be able to do it. So I've got a launch remote control session button available now for Greg right here. And he's trying to get back into the Zoom meeting. So then I'll show you where I'm trying to find this.
Okay, we're back. My error.
Yeah. So that actually restarted your computer. So
Yeah.
we're going to go do a Google search in a moment. If you could
all
go
it
ahead.
all it gave me after I clicked that troubleshoot button was the F4 safe mode, I believe.
Because you're not seeing all the options that you're supposed to see there, which goes to the idea that your computer has some emotional baggage. It's not operating the way it's supposed to. That's not the way Windows is supposed to operate.
Yeah, I've seen videos and I said, well, I don't get those buttons.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I should be able to show that on my second computer here. I'm going to punch over to my second computer and I'll just demonstrate to the video what we should be seeing here. So I've got the log me in remote session. You can see the borders here, the borders around Greg's screen. So I'm going to minimize that application and then Windows D to get to the desktop of my computer. Then if I press the Windows key on the keyboard, and then, let's see, reset is one way to get to this option. Reset this PC. That advanced restart is what I'm looking to get to. Here's advanced startup. So I think I can go into advanced startup, restart now, and show you what those options are supposed to be.
Yeah, there should be like six options.
Yeah, I don't think I'll lose connection to this computer because this is through a capture device.
All I'm seeing is my desktop in the chat and your little picture window.
On the video?
Yeah.
On the YouTube? Are you looking at the YouTube video?
No, I don't have YouTube open.
Well, I think it's minimized. I think it's minimized. You should be able to Alt-Tab to get to it. So because the YouTube video is seeing my
No,
second computer.
Firefox is closed.
All right, well, you have to go back into the YouTube video then. So I'm going to go ahead and we've got choose an option here. So at this point, Greg says he's only seeing one choice. I want to let him get back in to where he can see this. Can I Alt-Tab back to his computer? No, I can't.
Okay, I see the video now.
Okay, so do you see the three choices? Continue troubleshooting and turn off your PC.
Right.
Are you getting one of those?
I was getting all three of those. Select troubleshoot.
All right. And then reset this PC, recovery tool, advanced options.
I don't get those three. It
Do you
just takes me to the safe mode option.
Safe mode options. So if I go into advanced options, safe mode is not even one of those.
I don't get those 6.
Okay.
I don't even get the advanced options button.
So startup repair, startup settings.
That's what I was hoping to get to.
Right.
Try startup repair.
Startup settings is what we would want in order to get to.
That's what I get after I click on troubleshoot.
Oh, you do get this?
Yeah.
Startup settings? Okay, well, what this means is when you click restart, it should then come to a menu that gives you these choices. You can't choose from this screen, but if you click restart, you should get to it. It should pause on the screen where you get these choices.
Yeah, you have to put in the number.
Yeah, by number.
Yeah.
And there's, let's see, low resolution, debugging mode, boot logging, safe mode, driver signature, early launch, automatic restart. Oh, that doesn't have USB. Was that on another one? That was command prompt, uninstall updates. Where's start on USB?
Was it before that?
That's advanced options. Reset. No. Recovery. Restore with the tool. Recovery tool. That should be what's. I wouldn't think so. Recovery tool. I don't know if I'm going to lose you because that. Would I lose you there?
No, I still see and hear you.
Yeah, you still see me on Zoom, but I think I lose the log me in connection to you and not the Zoom connection. Okay, so I'm going to look at chat while my computer's restarted. Oh, you know what? It's restarting to the OEM recoveries. I don't want that. Let's see if it gets me to something. And that is showing on the YouTube video. Greg, just try and zoom if you can. Okay, we saw that. You should make sure you reinstall Windows C drive. Yeah, update security, then advanced. Via recovery, yes. But Greg said he don't got that extra advanced buttons. True, he doesn't have that extra advanced buttons, but why did I not see the USB option to be able to boot to something else? You cannot access the BIOS from within Windows. There are some motherboards that will allow to update the BIOS in Windows, but accessing the settings can only be in there. Okay, all right, that makes sense, Sam. All right, so then I got product recovery. So yeah, I'm not going to do product recovery on this computer. I'm going to cancel that process, exit now, and hopefully I'm going to reboot. Oh, that takes me back to choose an option. Then troubleshoot. See, we went into troubleshoot, we went into advance, no recovery, reset your PC, startup settings, isn't that that's what we looked at, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, command prompt, that's where the alternate boot should be. Maybe it doesn't show up until, okay, you know what, I can go ahead and restart this computer. Yes, I lose my remote connection to you, but I can get that back. But I can show on video what's going to happen because this computer is connected by capture card. So I'm wondering if I actually have to have a USB bootable plugged in. I don't know. But this restart should get me to those options. Sam says no, that's not it. But Sam, I'm sorry, I don't know what point we were at when you saw that. Okay, F10 for more options. Enable debugging, safe food. Okay, so I'm doing F10 for more. Number keys. Debugging, boot logging, low resolution, safe mode networking, net command prompt, disable driver, early launch anti-malware, automatic restart after failure. F10, launch recovery environment. No. Launch recovery environment. No, I don't think so. Enter to return to your operating system. So I actually haven't rebooted. That's just returned me to operating system, it looks like. Although it looks like it's restarting. There, Sam says there should be an option to access UEFI settings to get into the BIOS.
That's what I've seen Carrie do a lot of times.
Well, sure. Well, that's when restarting your computer, but we can't see you do that.
Yeah.
And my computer number 2, that's not going to work because it's an old it's a, what is it? It's a Lenovo micro computer, one of those tiny boxes. So it's not even going to have the same kind of UEFI BIOS anyway.
My BIOS is not the old legacy BIOS when I go into it. The only thing I've done is play with the fan curve a little bit and set the RAM to 3200.
Yeah, I'm certain I have a vision in my mind of what you're seeing with your when you get into your BIOS, and it's a UEFI screen, but there is a drive configuration where you can choose how it's going to interface with your drive, and the choice in there, like it's SATA or some motherboard is SCSI, but I don't think you'll have that. Or I don't think it's called UEFI in there. Isn't there another ASD, 4-character acronym? There's so many acronyms for us to deal with. I might not have that right. So we have our Zoom session on right now, and my computer has just restarted. So I'm going to go back to connect to your computer. You're going to need to go, Greg, to your browser, logmein123.com. I should have given you an icon on your desktop to make it easier, but you're okay with doing that. And fun fact, this computer that I'm using to do remote connections to people is actually a pretty slow computer, but it does these functions just fine. And it just goes to show, is a computer too slow for what you're doing? It depends upon what you're doing. My remote connections to other people's computers work just fine on this slow computer. And I've got a 2-factor authentication for my LogMeIn Rescue, so I've got to put in a code. Let's get to my security folder on my phone, my Authenticator app, and a touch ID for that. And that number is red right now, so I'm going to wait for it to recycle to a new ID number. And then I get 059527. That's not a secret number because that's a one-time code. And that gets me into LogMeIn Rescue. And if Greg has downloaded and opened the file in logmein123.com, then he shows up right there with his name. And then I hit my launch remote control button, and that'll bring us back into his computer. And then I'm going to drag his Zoom session down so it hides behind the picture-in-picture. and then fix the Zoom meeting picture-in-picture on my, whoops, I can't do that way. Gotta do that here. Bring the Zoom meeting up to the top so it shows both of us, and hide the webcam picture-in-picture. And we're back. Okay, so let's move on to creating the Windows 10 20H2 installation media on your USB memory stick.
I just did that last night.
Not this way. Well, no, I'm sorry. You did 20H2. No, I went 1909.
Okay, let me, you want me to plug it in and erase everything?
Just plug it in. I think
Okay.
the operation of creating the bootable 1909 will erase what's on it.
It's plugged in.
Okay, so I'm going to take a moment and think. I'm going to look over at chat. AHCI. Yeah, you're right, Christoph and Sam. AHCI is the drive configuration within BIOS that I think gives you a automatically formats the drive with not MBR, but the other one.
GPT.
GPT, thank you. So, Greg, the chat is asking us for your motherboard make and model.
It's an Asus X470, as in Frank.
Okay, so Asus
X470
X470
dash Frank.
dash F as in Frank
Yeah. Gaming.
Gaming. Is that it?
Yep. That's it.
All right, so I put that into the chat window. And now, so to do the Windows 1909, we use Rufus.
I've heard of it.
Okay. And I have not actually done this before, so this is going to be fun. I always love learning new stuff, and that's why I like this job. So here's the screen just showing us how to do it. Now, I did tinker around with it a little bit yesterday, so I have some awareness. So here's a download button, but that doesn't seem to be clickable. Here's Rufus 3.13, that's clickable, but here's portable.
Right, the portable
I'd
version.
rather
that
use
Terry
portable.
recommends.
Yeah, which for anyone that doesn't know just means that it doesn't actually install as an application. You can launch it anytime you choose to. I'm going to close this log me in window. And so that has downloaded. Click up here on your download button and then open file. Now, how about we actually go move that to a different location? Oh, here it is. Just give us open containing folder, so it's easier to get to later. So here's the program. So I'm going to right click and cut, and let's put it somewhere on your C drive that is a more sensible place to get to. So we'll expand this PC, expand the C drive. Do you have any preferred place that you'd like to put your tools?
No, you can make a new folder.
Then I'm going to create my preferred place, and anytime I go to work on a computer, I go look to see if this SW setup folder is there. Some people might be cringing at this if they are not HP fans, because HP, as far as I know, came up with this folder. And then I'll right click and paste, and oh, that's not a zip file. So let's actually create a folder called Rufus. Sounds like a dog's name to me.
Yeah.
So I just held the mouse button down and tried to drag it to that folder, but I'm not getting.
Can't just right click and do copy paste or cut paste.
Yeah, cut paste. And then double click in Rufus, right click, paste. All right, so then launch Rufus. Do you want to allow to check for application updates? Yeah, I'll do that. All right, so then this is showing us it's sensing your USB
Right.
stick. And I came in, just as point of reference, I came into here without a USB memory stick connected, and this field was just blank, and I was still able to come over here. And this is where we're going to go do this drop down, and actually, no, not drop down, just click on select. Yeah, it's not what I was expecting. Disk ISO image, what's working different? Free boost non-bootable disk IO image, that's what we want. And this is drop down again, select download. Oh, okay, select would be selecting from a file already downloaded. We want to download the image that we want. So by switching this button to the word download, I stared at this and was thinking, what next? Well, this is now a clickable button. So click on download, and it'll give us the choices of what we can download. So we can select Windows 10 or Windows 8.1.
Yeah.
So we're going to choose Windows 10, continue, and then we can choose which release. Now this was fun or interesting because they give relationships here between 20H2 and the build number, and I've been saying for a long time that the build number begins with two characters that are always one digit below the year. So 20 is going to be 19 something, 20H2 is going to be 19 something, 20H1 is going to be 19 something. 19H2, notice that they called 20H1 instead of 2004. Everyone else called that 2004, right?
Yeah.
And then 19H2, we called it 1909. And 19H1, we called it 1903. But again, the build number was one digit lower. But there was two 19H1s. And this 19H1 was released in May of 2019. This 19H1 was released September of 2019. 19H2, which I was saying that we called 1909, was released in November. So I'm not actually certain which of these was 1909. I think it was probably this one. But anyway, that's just kind of...
Yeah, the extension is 959, but they don't list it.
The extension that you have now, well, that gets modified with monthly cumulative updates.
Oh.
So these are just showing the specific number at the time of those releases.
Right.
But then we come back here, and so here we still have that one digit difference, and then we get to 1809 and it's 17, one digit difference.
Right.
1809, and they were calling R1 and R2, so an additional different designator. Then 1803 was 17, 1709 was 16.
That was before I even installed it.
Yeah, 1703 called Redstone, so they're giving the code names here. They're not giving us code names up here. But 1703 was build 15, two digit. Whoops, I didn't mean to click on that. 1607 was two digit difference. 1511 was 5 digit difference. So that one digit difference didn't go along forever.
Right.
But anywho, that was just my geeking out on numbers. So what I'm saying is we want to get to is 1909 because your current edition is 1909.
Yeah, build 18363.
Yeah, let's go verify that. So I'm doing Windows key R, WinVer, enter. Here we have 18363. So that's the one we're going to do a fresh install with. 1909.
Yep, right
1863, right there.
Yep.
And so they're showing it here designated as H2 when Microsoft was not using that naming convention with us. But as far as I know, this Rufus might have taken their own liberties with some of these names. I don't know. I don't care. All right. So then, okay, get out of that. So then continue. Version 10 release edition. So it's home and pro.
Yep.
That this memory stick is going to be good for. The alternative was education. Continue. So this should be about to, English. We could choose a different language. Continue. Architecture, we have to pick
Yeah.
one or the other.
Yeah.
Download using a browser. I'm going to not check mark that. So now it's taken us to a location, and I'm going to go back to SW setup. And that's C drive, expand your C drive, scroll down, SW setup, single left click, right click in the blank area, new, folder, and this I'll call Win10-1909. Well, it's obvious that it's an ISO once we look at the file name in there. So here, downloading that image. Looking at chat. Let's see, William Dawson. The latest BIOS is 5837.
Yep, that's what we got.
14.77. So that's what he has in size. If it follows the latest thing that ASUS does, you will have to reset your memory boost, but on the main screen, but the IA overclocking menus. So that sounds like a setting for boosting memory speed. But he already has that version of the BIOS. Then Sam says, I cannot even find the options to set the boot mode to legacy. So I find it very strange that this install is on MBR now. Did Greg do a clean install when he built the PC, or did he clone an old drive?
No, I downloaded it from Microsoft.com.
Okay, so Sam, I don't think it would be a matter of choosing the legacy BIOS setting. I think it would be a matter of choosing the drive configuration within the UEFI BIOS. If you choose a drive configuration of anything other than AHCI, I think that might cause the MBR. Or could it be if you install from, oh yeah, here's another possibility. If your USB memory stick is formatted with MBR, and that boots the computer into an MBR mode, could that be a way that it happens? I'm not sure. Another thing that I have seen is when you boot to, when you restart the computer to boot to a USB memory stick, I've seen an option with where on the top part you can boot to a USB in the legacy section, or in the bottom part boot to the USB in a UEFI section. Okay, and Sam responds yes. I'm assuming that's responding yes to my drive configuration. He says that is possible, absolutely. C Rufus here. Sam says C Rufus here. Sam, you see MBR partition scheme. All right, let's look at, here, partition scheme right here on the Rufus screen. Did we have an opportunity to change that to a different partition scheme?
Click on Show Advanced Device Properties. Did that give you the ability to change it?
Here. Is that grayed out right now? I think it's grayed out while this is running. I'm kind of tempted to cancel this. This is downloading 5.1 gigabytes. Yeah, it's downloading the ISO. We're not actually putting it onto the memory stick yet. So I'm wondering, after this is done, would we be able to make an alternate choice here? Because
Yeah.
Rufus might have sensed that your memory stick is already an MBR partition.
It's just
Now-
a Walmart Omni.
Yeah. Now over here, target system, BIOS or UEFI CSM. Now I don't know what the hyphen CSM is.
A compatibility system manager, I think it is.
Maybe, and I'm guessing that would be a wrong choice for us.
I think that's for
So-
older legacy devices that are connected.
Well, yeah, and we don't want it to be
Right.
formatted that way. So I'm thinking we're going to need to make changes here. I'm just wondering, is it in our best interest to cancel this, make those changes, and then restart this? But it seems to me that this ISO that's downloading, we should be able to make these choices
You
independent.
can't click the little drop down arrow next to the left of the show advanced properties. See it's
No, we can't. All of these are non-responsive right now.
Oh.
They're kind of grayed out.
Yeah, because we're downloading.
I think it's because the download is in operation. So yeah, Sam, I'm with you on that. Let's see, we're showing 12 concurrent viewers. Thank you for everybody for being here. And since we got a little bit of time to wait, it's my curiosity time to come in. Would you all please type in where you're from and what your local time is? I'd love to see that.
I'm currently in St. Mary's County, Maryland.
St. Mary's County, Maryland.
Yeah.
And your time there is what?
3:22, 3:23.
Yeah, we're all probably going to be the same minutes, unless somebody's in a half-hour time zone. There's a few of those around the world. All right, so 5.1 gigabytes. Not showing us a download speed, but let's go watch this a little bit. I'm going to press the Windows key to bring up your taskbar, right click on the taskbar and choose Task Manager. And let's watch some activity in here. Put this up out of the way a little bit. And can I shrink that? Let's see, we're seeing CPU activity, memory activity. Wait a minute, is the Task Manager open on your screen?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I just checking to see if I actually had the Task Manager for my computer. I'm going to go full screen on your computer to get rid of my boundary. So we see memory activity. We don't see not much disk activity, not much network activity.
Go to the Performances tab.
Yeah. See more detail here. Let's see if I can arrange these windows a little bit so we can watch things happening, just because I'm a nosy individual. That's not really the only reason. It is educational. You see what I'm trying to do, right?
Yeah.
I might wind up asking you to position this around. Sometimes
Stretch it. Oh, you got it.
There we go. All right. So here we're seeing this isn't as informative. Let's go open Resource Monitor. That's even more fun. And I want to expand that a little bit. Let's see, so we can look at listening ports, TCP connections, network activity. That's interesting. This isn't the view that I usually get. Overview. We weren't on overview. Okay, here. There's a low CPU, low disk, low network. Now this network graph will change scale when it gets busier. It'll go up to 1 gigabit per second.
I've only got a 50 meg
Okay. So yeah, the low network activity is because your network adapter is capable of much higher throughput than your internet connection. So the bottleneck here is not your computer. Whatever bottleneck we have is your internet connection and how quickly the server on the other side is willing to serve us.
I do speed test couple times a month, and
Yeah.
it fluctuates anything from 48 megabytes to 80 megabytes. But it's
Okay.
I'm just paying for 50 megabytes.
Yeah. And I think that's actually megabits.
Yeah.
And here we're gigabytes.
Yeah.
So bits and bytes is a different
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
size. What are these things? Show the log, application settings, information about this application, change application language. Does the log tell us anything interesting? All right, so found the USB device. It's a USB 2.0. It's a 16 gigabyte. It's an MBR. 14 gigabytes, I guess, on the partition. FAT32 LBA. File length, query, HTTPS. Looking out something at a web address, a Microsoft address, software download. So maybe this is telling us that it is downloading from a Microsoft site rather than from a Rufus storage. That's comforting. Because that says we're getting original product, even though Microsoft's website doesn't provide any place for us to download older versions.
Yeah, I've looked at that too.
Yeah. So, and let me explain if anyone hasn't understood. The reason why I'm wanting to have Greg do a fresh install of 1909 is to prove that his computer will perform the upgrade to 20H2. As opposed to just installing 20H2. Now, one of my experiences has been to, for computers, for instance, when we were upgrading from Windows 7 to Windows 10, I would occasionally come across a computer that failed to do the upgrade, but I could do a fresh install of Windows 10. So computers that were not built specifically for Windows 10, most of them would do the upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10, but not all of them. And the ones that would not, I was at times successful at doing a fresh install. However, sometimes their webcam wouldn't work, or their sound card wouldn't work, or some fairly minor element of the computer would not work, and we were never able to get them working. All right. Looking back at things, we got 10 viewers, and Sam, let's see, Griffin is well, let's go up a little bit more. Sam, Greg is 100% UEFI mode, but the partition scheme must be GPT for modern settings. Yes, agreed. Griffin, Fort Myers, Florida, welcome. Sam is from the Netherlands, 8:23 p.m. Wonderful. Thank you for being with us, Sam. William, you should be able to change the target system, Cocoa, Florida, 3:23 p.m. Excuse me, what is he referring to there? Cocoa, Florida. You're in the same time zone as Florida. Is that one of the time zone designees for Florida? Cocoa? I mean for Eastern time. We'll go look at Greg's time and date settings here. Adjust time date.
They're correct.
Set time automatically. current date and time. Set time zone automatically is turned off. Set
Not
the
sure
date.
why that's turned off.
Not too worried about it. Oh, look at this. It says you're in time zone Eastern Time, Canada.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you are Eastern Time.
Yeah.
And it is -5 UTC. Okay, I guess I just threw for a moment when it said Canada. All right. So if we were to select time zone automatically, that basically just means if you take your computer to a different part of the country, it would choose that automatically.
Don't
But
think
I
I'm
am
going to be doing that.
Yeah, you're not going to be doing that, but I am curious, are there any other... See, there are other -5 time zones, but they're outside of the U.S.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for us to choose any of those. And it doesn't make sense that choosing time zone automatically would make any difference. And I like to turn that off when you don't need it. I like to turn off anything that causes extra work on the
Right.
part of the computer
I agree.
that you don't need, even though it's probably a very, very minor thing. But by turning it off, you're eliminating one more thing that could glitch.
Well, it's got to be set right because it says adjust for daylight savings time automatically. And that's turned on and it's correct.
Yeah, and your computer recently made that adjustment.
Right.
So that all looks good for anyone who is still questioning time issues.
It says it's ready. Can you change? See,
how
it
about that?
changed to GPT.
Yeah, look, these things are not grayed out anymore. So
Yeah.
this says partition scheme GPT now.
Yeah.
That said MBR while the download was
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. I agree.
And now this has changed to UEFI non-CSM. That automatically happened.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting. Type of computer you plan to use this bootable drive with. It is your responsibility to determine whether your target is of BIOS or UEFI type before you start creating the drive, as it may fail to boot otherwise. I'm going to take a guess that between the time that we started that download and now, Rufus has sensed what computer you're working
Right.
with. And we could change these if we were going to use this USB on a different computer. Now let's go take a look at some of the other things we didn't see before. This standard Windows installation, that seems obviously correct choice.
Right.
Use this option to indicate whether you want to use this device to install Windows on another disk or if you want to run Windows directly from this drive. Oh, okay. So that'd be the Windows to go. So that's if you want to create a bootable disk that you can actually boot Windows and use the computer. That's not what we're trying to do. We want to install Windows from this.
Yeah. Standard install.
Yeah, so we've got our 1909 x64, got the memory stick. We don't need to do any more select button. Advanced drive properties. List USB drives, we don't need that. Use Rufus MBR, no. Add fixes for old BIOSes, no. Volume label. Do we care about that?
I don't think so.
This has bothered me. This is the English, but why does those three letters indicate French? And GB, is that a designation for German? I don't know. Maybe.
Great Britain.
You know what? Maybe it gave us opportunity to choose other languages, but this file might have several of languages because you know when you do the installation, it gives you opportunity to select language.
Like English, yeah.
So there's probably a variety of languages that are rolled up into this. File system NTFS, perfect.
Yep.
Cluster size, the default.
Yep.
I can accept that. Status, ready, and then start. So I'm deducing start button. Oh, it even tells us right there in that balloon. Start the formatting operation. This will destroy any data on the target, which confirms we did not have to delete it first. All right, here we go. Oh, let's see. I'm going to take a look at some chat stuff because it's related. You should be able to change the only option those, that is, for user comfort, and also maybe getting time from a different NTP server. This is a UK English type that we have now. Great Britain, but you can change it later. Oh, English International. That's why he's saying it's an English. Yeah, he's saying it's a UK English. I don't recall that we saw any other
No, I don't believe there was anything but those
Options.
three options.
Okay, but we can change it later. But that kind of makes sense when it says international. That
Yeah,
it's not our U.S. English, and I think during the installation you also can choose U.S. So I think we're okay here. So start. All data destroyed on E. I don't recall, Greg, if you were seeing the chat comments, but there was concern expressed about your D drive being connected while you're trying to install Windows, that you
I
might
can pop the panel off real quick and remove those two cables.
unplug it. Yeah. Of course, that would be a
Access
carry
to
advice
device
thing.
denied.
So we got access to the device is denied. Do you have any kind of write protection on it?
Not that I know of. If you want me to go through Explorer and look at it, or do you want to look at it?
Well, yeah, I'll bring up File Explorer and go to the USB and see if I can create. There's no disk inserted.
It's inserted.
Well, that's interesting. Let's look at Manage and Disk Management, see what it has to say. Maybe it's already been wiped.
Yeah, it's down below. It's got a partition.
Unallocated. So that's it's already been wiped by Rufus. Let's. I'm going to right click and see if I can create a new volume on it. That's not impressive.
There
Right
it goes.
click, new simple volume.
It's not hiding behind that window, is it, by chance?
Oh, maybe a confirmation or something. User account control, maybe. No.
I disabled the account control last night.
Oh, all right. This is not normal.
No, it's not.
All right, go ahead and pull it out.
All right. Been removed.
Okay, so the computer responded, recognized that you removed it, put it back in.
All right.
Unallocated. New simple volume. Well, this is not nice. Do you have another sufficiently sized USB?
That's the only one I have.
Any ideas in the chat room?
It's not even showing D drive under device management.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I'll go back.
Should show 3. There we go.
Yeah, it's right here. Oh, I was scrolled down. That's why you weren't seeing it.
Oh. But that you should be able to assign a new volume to it.
You know what? It's Rufus recognized it as an MBR, and then after we downloaded that file, it then reported it to be
GPT.
the other one, GPT. Did that somehow cause emotional damage to the USB memory stick?
Can we select that during the install to make it GPT?
Well, no, because the computer's going to boot on the memory stick. So if it boots as MBR, then Windows has to install MBR. As a matter of fact, I've seen times when I'm trying to reinstall Windows on top of an existing installation, and I boot on a memory stick that has the alternative disk partition scheme. When I get to the place of selecting the partition to install on, it tells me you can't install it. And it's because of the different partition scheme. It doesn't tell you that there, but it's because of booting on the alternative. So, you know what, here I'm going to try changing this to MBR to see if we can revive that memory stick. Volume label NTFS is the only choice there. Let's see what this does. Deleting partitions. Let's ready and start. Access to the device denied. So, did not like that. Now, your computer is actually booted on an MBR. Does that give us any limitations of what we can create here? Let's refresh. Steve Gibson's coming out with his new products with one of the sister programs he's created that will revive a memory stick in this condition, I think. Spin disk is his primary product. We are toast. This is so not working. Let's see. Looking at chat. I would clean the USB via disk part. Okay, I'll buy that. I'm going to look at that, Sam. Cleaning always works better for me instead of wiping it. Okay. And Sam, maybe Rufus is not ran as an admin. Okay. May not be able to write to the disk. Okay, we didn't launch Rufus with admin rights. True. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. Minimize that. And let's see. Disk part. So I'm going to say that is from a DOS command prompt. And because you got, okay, this is,
Could you do it under?
Can we go uninstall that?
Uninstall what?
Your Windows arrow tweaker?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. I keep pressing buttons that I know work and they don't work under Win10. arrow tweaker. Yeah, this looks still not working the way I'm expecting. Windows key, then I'll click insert, CMD, right click command.
As administrator, yeah.
Yep. Disk part /? To remind myself. This doesn't have a user interface, does it?
What?
Disk part.
I
Use a disk part script. Show this help screen. Okay, I'm just going to try disk part. Nope. Oh, it's got a disk part command prompt. Okay, so is there a drive letter assigned to that? No, list partitions, I think it was something like that. And the USB-E drive is showing nothing. So, is it just, we'll just list do it? Oh, list partition, list disk. And then we got to change to that disk.
Yeah.
Or set that disk, something like that. So it's the disk 2. And I think it's just disk space 2. Does that switch us to it? No. This part active marks convert, delete, create, exit, extend. Active list, remove, rescan. Okay, this disk, list, partition or part? No, help me out, Sam. Select, yeah, SELE, disk 2. Bingo. Disk 2 is now the selected disk. Clean.
Yeah.
All right, so there's list disk, select disk, clean. All right, great. Clean. Disk part succeeded in cleaning the disk. All right. Is there anything else I want to do in this app? Now open disk management again. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Can I leave this disk part open on that disk? I think so. So right-click this PC and manage. And disk management, Sam is saying it will prompt you. And we scroll down here, unallocated. New simple volume. I'm going to wait to see Sam chime in on that because he's obviously fresher on this than I am. But I'm thinking that's what we want to try next. I recall there's at some point where you get the question in here about initializing a disk. It didn't give us that. Sam, are we good to do new simple volume here, or is there something else we should do first? It should not have a drive letter. He doesn't like that it has a drive letter E. Let's look at properties here, see if that helps.
It's not even coming up.
Hasn't responded. Right click again, change drive letter and paths. That gives us nothing. Minimize computer management. what is list partition, something like that? Can we list partitions on disk 2 or do anything further to, let's see, probably, does question mark give us help? Yeah. Remove, repair, rescan, retain, select, set ID, shrink, unqueue, recover, refreshes the state of all disks in the selected pack, attempts recovery, resynchronizes. Now, offline, online, merge, list, inactive, import, format the volume or partition. How about if we use disk part to try to create a partition on that disk? Format, that would be after partition, file systems, display current and supported file systems, expand, extend, exit, detach, detail, delete, create, convert, compact. Went too far there. Break, auto mount, attach, attributes, assign, add, active. Okay. Come on. Get back to a prompt for me. Okay, so should not have a drive letter. Can you clean again and open disk management directly instead of going via computer management? Okay, well, I know there's a Control R comparable for disk management. I don't remember the command. Sam, do you have that offhand? And he wants clean again. I want to confirm that we're on disk 2. All right, clean. Disk part succeeded in cleaning the disk. So let's exit out of disk part. Exit out of command prompt. And going directly to disk management instead of through. It's an abbreviation of disk management. I'm sure.
Don't you just type in disk in the search?
Yeah. What do we got here? Oh, task manager. Let's close that. What else do we have open? We got resource monitor open. Close that. And yeah, but this is control. Windows key R, and disk MGNT is what I think it is. It might need the MSC extension. Boom chakalaka. I gotta win something for that. That was pulled out of memory. Right click, new simple volume. I do not think this is going to work. Still got a drive letter. How do we get that to a point of losing the drive letter? Is there any more tasks? Options. Changes the view of a console file or saved in your profile. All right, time for a Google search, wouldn't you say?
Your guess is as good as mine.
And Sam says very strange, so it sounds like he's at a loss. I have seen times when you can just blow up a drive and just not recoverable, and that's why I'm eager to see these new tools coming out from Steve Gibson. This is a Google search in your address bar. Okay. Unable to what? Partition. Okay, so what is the actual thing that we're saying here is simple volume.
New simple volume.
Unable to create simple volume. To create simple volume on USB memory stick. 12 viewers. Thank you everybody for being here. Unable to create simple volume. Try starting the computer safe mode. See if you can format a flash drive from safe mode. Fun fact, I can reboot your computer in safe mode and connect to it. New simple volume grayed out error. Is there anything else in here? Unable to create simple volume out of unallocated. That was unallocated, right?
Yeah.
Yes. That sounds pretty specific. And these are posts. So this is a forum. Unable to create simple new volume 1 terabyte 2 posts using disks, and these are old.
Yeah.
Old. New simple volume grayed out Windows 10. It wasn't grayed out.
No, it wasn't.
We were able to choose it. How to fix unformattable, unusable. If your computer is still able to detect, you might want to know if it's been right-click, create simple volume. New simple volume grayed out. That's not our problem. So I'm interested in that, and I'm also interested in what? That one. Right click that one, open new tab. So go here, unable to fix an unformattable, unusable USB drive. Sounds pretty on target. Scroll too much. Making people dizzy now. Do you have an unusable USB stick? Stop working for some reason. You find one of the following scenarios. Memory used up completely. Windows won't let you format. USB refuses to show up. Sounds familiar. You should know. May not be entirely the USB's fault. Sometimes partition errors. Follow the detailed setup. Detect a corrupted drive. We're going to look through this. I'm going to page down through this. If your computer is still able to detect, you might want to know if it's being corrupted. Select properties of the drive folder, device status. If it says its device is working properly. Well, it doesn't say it's working properly because that window won't even open. Corrupted, it's believable. Wipe the USB clean with disk part command line. Okay, so does this have some other things that we didn't try? Built-in format, accessible, simple right-click. This stage probably won't work. You no longer need the data, the command line tool, better way to help. Okay, Windows 10 search button, command prompt as administrator. As administrator, inserted disk part, list of each and every disk. Fine, we done that. Clean, we did that. Check for freed space using list disk. Succeeded in cleaning the disk. List disk. We didn't look to see if it had the asterisk for GPT. The asterisk there is indicating the current disk. I don't think it would have GPT yet. It's not formatted yet. Reallocate USB drive volume from disk management console. If I don't, it's easily accessible. Create and format. New simple wizard. We're not getting to that point. If your USB was identifiable on your computer, you won't ever see this option. Instead, you will be able to directly format the disk from this menu. There's a reason we had to earlier run disk part in the command prompt. So here they're showing, I'm going to go up a little bit, what they showed here. So, daggone it. Unallocated. So they right clicked and went to format it. And they get this window. We don't get that formatted, that window.
I've seen that in the past.
Yeah, but we do have unallocated. So this one's not giving us that answer. It's telling us
Right.
to go do this, and that's broken. Thank you very much. Want to do dual boot Ubuntu. Convert your disk to GPT. See, I really think that whatever Rufus did to convert from MBR to GPT was caused a problem to that memory stick. Supposed to be ways to convert disk to GPT without losing the data, or we don't care about having lost the data. Oh, here's an idea. Okay, so two things. I'm going to check just one thing. I'm sure this is not going to work, but I'm going to try right click here and be sure that format option isn't functional from here. Oh, I'm surprised that came up. Let's just do FAT or NTFS.
I think we have to do NTFS, don't we?
Well, we want NTFS, but FAT is what it was.
Oh.
And there's also a choice of quick format. I'm sure this is going to fail, and the failure should be pretty quick. Unable to complete the format. All well and good. NTFS. Start. Enable. And remove the quick format. And I'm going to do both of those. Whoops, I didn't mean to choose exFAT. Start. Enable. And NTFS. Remove the check mark. Start. And unable to complete. Okay, so here's what I'm proposing next. You created a bootable Windows 10 H20H2.
Yeah, last night.
Do you still have that file on your computer? Can you rerun that and see if it'll create that? Because that is a different partition task.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, go ahead and run it as administrator. Have you turned your camera off?
No.
Oh, let me go see what's going on
Lost
there.
it for some
Because we
reason.
lost your... Did we close that program? No, we didn't close Zoom. I'm still talking to you. Now I've got your mouse. Let's check Zoom, see what's going on. Oh, that's over here, right? Yeah, there's camera. Yeah, now you're back. You don't see your camera view, but we do.
No. Yeah, the lights are back on now.
Oh, on the webcam. Curious, something turned it off. Well, I'm not going to strain my brain over that. Looking at chat. It doesn't have to be formatted. MBR GPT is the partition scheme. When you partition, you can only choose the file system itself. Can you plug it in again? It may be scanning the drive information. Let's do that after a bit. Oh, create. All right, I'm clicking create installation media.
Yeah.
This hasn't tried to do anything with the thumb drive yet. Use recommended options for this PC.
Yeah.
That's all good. Next. USB flash drive, at least
Yeah.
8 gig. Next.
Refresh.
Refresh drive list. We can't find the USB. Okay, so go ahead and pull the memory stick out and put it back in, and then we'll click refresh. I'm certain that's not going to work. And we have not restarted your computer since that trouble, but it's really hard to imagine that restarting the computer is going to
Okay, I
fix
reinserted it.
that. I really think that we've damaged that thumb drive, and refresh drive list doesn't seem to even be trying. Let's go back one screen and then next. Can't find it. Okay, and I certainly agree with Sam. It should not have a drive letter there. You know what? Why don't we take a break?
What about my son's SATA drive?
Your son's SATA drive.
I just specially formatted it.
Okay. So you have a USB adapter to connect
Right.
it USB, and you don't care about anything that's on it right now.
No, I did a fresh format down on his PC, and
That
My
means
my Windows will recognize it.
okay, then we can use that and create a bootable, use Rufus
Just, I guess,
to
close
put
that.
our 1909 on that. Let's do it.
Okay, it's plugged in. See?
Okay, E drive 237, and that is a what do you call those fast drives that don't spin?
SATA drives.
No.
No.
SATA drives can spin. My brain's getting mushy. Come on, it's not as hard as you're thinking. The memory chip based drives.
Oh, the controllers?
No,
Oh.
you're going way too. SSD. Yes, you're right to laugh at that, Sam. I will pull a memory blank on simple things from time to time. Yes, that's an SSD, isn't it?
Yes.
It's not a spinning. It's not a spinning drive.
No, it's an ADATA SU750.
All right, I don't know the model number, but
It runs about 550, I think, when I ran Crystal Disk down on my son's machine about a month ago.
all right. So let's see. We did close Rufus. So I'm going back to File, Explorer, expand this PC, expand the C drive, expand SW setup, single click on Rufus, right click on Rufus, run as administrator, which I don't think we did last time. And we're going to select the ISO this time instead of download it. That saved us some time.
Yeah.
And so we've got that, and then our device selection, we don't get to select a device. Oh, are you kidding me? Is this gonna work only for USB memory stick? It's not showing us that drive. I selected, that's the ISO file. Show advanced drive properties. List USB hard drives. Okay. Boom.
That's why.
Yeah. All right. And it's
Except for GPT this time, because I
oh,
think
you know what? Let's confirm that elsewhere. It was this E drive, right?
Yeah.
Do we get NTFS? Is that enough to say that it is GPT? Windows key are disk mg.mt.msc. Oh, wants to initialize it.
Yeah, I just did a format on it. That's all I did, to delete his old C drive data.
Well, it shouldn't be asking us to initialize it if you formatted it.
Pretty sure I did.
The GPT partition
there's
style is
nothing
not
on the
recognized
drive.
by all previous. Yeah, we know that.
Do we have to select GPT there?
Well, yeah, but I'm thinking we shouldn't. It should already be selected. What I want to do is cancel this and see what it's showing already, because it ought to be, that should already be done.
Can't go to disk.
See, here's, okay, so it's reporting it as an unknown disk. I'm going to maximize this window. 232.88. We have two of these showing as disk 2. This one shows NTFS E drive. This shows as unallocated. They're showing the last digit.
Yeah, can you do a refresh?
Differs.
There we go.
All right, I don't know why that worked. But that message it started with wanting to initialize, that was flat out wrong. That should not happen. If you've got partitions, and you do, it should not be asking us to initialize. Huh. Okay. So E, NTFS, basic. Okay, I guess we don't even get to see GPT or MBR here, do we? I thought we would be seeing it here. We can see it in disk part. All right, I'm gonna be fussy here. Windows key, CMD, right click, run as administrator, disk part, right, list space disk or disks? Disk. Up arrow key to repeat the last command, backspace to get rid of the S. And that shows GPT. See the asterisk?
No, I
Right
don't.
there?
Oh, okay. I'm mistaken.
GPT.
Yep.
In that column.
Yep.
And 238 gigabytes. We're seeing 3 disks, because your two, your
C drive.
your SATA drive, actually your D drive is showing first.
Yeah.
Your disk 1 is your M.2 drive with 23 gigabytes free. Yeah, I think that's right. No, it's not right. But your D drive isn't 23 gigabytes free either. The reason why I was saying that 01 had to do with how disk mgmt.msc. How it shows up in here. Disk 0 is your D drive.
Right.
Disk 1 is your C drive, which is in M.2. And disk 2 is your E drive.
Yeah.
Oh, that free space, 23 gigabytes, was the unallocated.
Okay. Yeah.
Because this is partition disk part.
Right.
So yeah, that's why I was saying that amount of free space. Ay caramba. Okay, so disk 2 is GPT already. All right. Then Alt Tab to get back to Rufus. If I can hit my keys right. Windows GPT. UEFI non-CSM is what we're going for. So we got everything up here the way we want it. The E drive, 256, volume label, we don't care about being fussy with that. NTFS, cluster size, okay, ready. All will be destroyed. This drive contains multiple partitions, may include partitions that aren't listed or even visible from Windows. Should you wish to proceed, you are responsible for any data loss on these partitions.
Yep.
So it's
There's
going to
no
wipe out.
data there.
It's going to wipe out the other partitions.
Yeah, that's
We're
fine.
okay with that. All right. Oh, good point, Sam. Sam in the chat. When we got that prompt to initialize disk 2, he's saying he think it was. Well, wait a minute. I think that prompt was to initialize disk 2 from the USB stick, but it came late. It confused by the new drive being drive 2. Yeah, I don't think so, Sam, because that USB stick was removed long before we launched disk management. However, that disk, the SSD drive D has was 28 gigabytes, 68 gigabytes of unallocated space. No, but that wouldn't be initialized either. That's not an initialization thing.
I'm not sure why it's saying access denied. I was able to reformat it.
Access to the device is denied.
Setting under Windows.
Did Rufus just damage it? Is Rufus a bad actor? I mean, I've heard about it for a long time. You have too.
Yeah.
I've never used it. Ay caramba. I chose to be in this career.
Go to properties and see if there's protection on it.
Well, this is exactly the same pattern we had with your USB memory stick. Let's maximize this. See, it's gone back to unallocated. I bet we're going to get the same. Well, we didn't see spanned and striped volumes before. I bet it's not going to work.
Now we got it.
Oh, we got this window. Okay. E drive. Fine. NTFS. Allocation size. I'm going to go back one level, make sure I looked at this right. Yeah. Okay. NTFS. Allocation default. Fine. Quick format. Fine.
Yep.
Alternative to NTF is exFAT. Next.
Yeah, just click finish.
All right. Well, that was good. That's
Yeah.
better than I thought we were going to get.
Maybe it took time for it to recognize it or something.
Oh, Sam says he uses Rufus a lot. He's never seen that error. Okay, so that's comforting to know. Thank you. And then let's go back. We got to get back to Rufus. Bring up File Manager. Wrong place. Expand this computer. Expand the C drive.
SWS setup.
Expand SW setup. And you know what? I'm going to right click and let's see. Pin to start. Doesn't that put it up here at the top of this? No, it didn't. One of those will pin it up there so we don't have to go drilling down every time. Include in library, unpin from start. Oh, start means Windows key. Does it get it here? No.
I believe so.
Do you see it?
No.
No, it should be that folder. But I think with various Windows versions, that the way that what that does changes. Include in library, create new library. So that's desktop.
I think I got recent programs turned off, I think, under Windows. Show recent programs.
This is a waste. I'm going to give up on that. Okay, so right click on Rufus, run as administrator. Let's see, Troy says, put his USB in open Rufus, then where it says boot disk selection on Rufus, choose free DOS or non-bootable. Do not select anything else, and it should just format it. Troy, I don't remember seeing your name before, so I'm not sure if you've been with us all along and know the history of what we've done. You might be onto the right thing, but I'm not sure at the moment. So anyway, what he's saying, put his USB in open Rufus. What does he mean, open Rufus?
I guess click on the executable like you did.
I guess. Put his USB in and then open Rufus, maybe is what he means, rather than in. Then where it says boot disk selection, right here.
Yeah.
On Rufus, choose free DOS. Okay, we did not do that before. Where it says choose free DOS or non-bootable. So there's another section, or non-bootable, right? Well, we want it to be bootable. Do not select anything else, and it should just format it.
And start is grayed out.
Well, we don't have that drive available yet, and I'm not sure if Troy realizes that we're using a USB adapter connected SSD drive. We're no longer on a true USB. So here it's showing us that volume, showing us file system, large FAT32. And let's go back to this the way that we're wanting. We're selecting the Windows 10 1909 that we want, open that image. And so then that puts this into the boot selection rather than free DOS, because we're trying to format it with bootable Windows 10 1909. So new volume E, standard Windows installation as opposed to Windows to go, which would make you be able to actually run Windows from that. We want GPT, UEFI non-CSM. Okay, that all looks fine. Volume label, we don't care about the volume label. Cluster size, I don't think we needed anything with, quick format. Yeah, we should be okay with quick format.
Yeah.
Extended label, no. Check for bad blocks, no. We have ready. Here we go. Checking first. Nothing else in chat. All volume E, we're all agreed the E drive is the right one.
There it goes.
Yeah, but we saw the green start before, didn't we?
No, I think it said access denied right away.
Right away?
Yeah.
So, or not. Caramba. All right. I need a lunch break. Jeez. kind of thinking that I might try creating a bootable USB myself on my end, because remember, we still anything we do on your computer is questionable, because we know your computer is not working right. We don't know why. It's not doing Windows updates. That is not right. It's not giving us the advanced restart options. That's not right. There was a couple other things where things weren't just weren't happening right. So is this another thing that's just not working right? I don't know. I got to get my head away from this to think it through.
Can't blame you.
Yeah. I don't see anything else coming in chat, so we're about to wrap this up. If anyone's got a final idea to put out in chat, speak now or hold your whatever until next opportunity. It is now 1:27 p.m. I'm thinking we can take another stab at this today. Are you willing to take another stab at it today?
Sure, if you want.
All right. And what I'll do is I'll put up another scheduled live session at least half an hour before we go live, so that way anyone that wants to be back in for it can do so. And I'm thinking that's probably going to be in the neighborhood of 3 p.m. Pacific time. And so we do have a couple other in chat. Does Greg have any other device to create the installation file? And I don't think you have any other computers on hand, correct?
My son's, but
Your son's?
yeah.
Well, why not use that to create the installation media? Because that would...
Go to Microsoft.com, do the media creation again.
No, Rufus. Use the Rufus tool.
I'm not familiar with Rufus.
Okay. Can you bring his computer into a Zoom session and remote session with me?
He's got Zoom installed, and
Yeah, that would be ideal, is if we can do a remote session in Zoom with his computer and go through the same process and it works on his computer.
Okay, well, I leave the camera attached to my computer, or
Yeah,
attached?
you can leave the camera attached to your computer. We can do the Zoom operations from your computer, do the remote connection to his computer. That'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fine. In fact, I like that a lot, because that eliminates a whole bunch of question marks.
Yeah, his is a gigabyte motherboard.
All right. Are they in close proximity to each other?
It's just right downstairs in the finished basement.
Okay. Will you be able to have them next to each other so that we can have Zoom and a remote session?
I don't know about how would we connect the internet to his computer.
Does his computer not connect to internet?
Yeah, I drilled a hole in the floor and dropped a 50-foot cable down there.
Okay. Well, you're wanting to keep the camera on your computer.
Right.
So for the Zoom session, but do the remote connection to his computer. Are you going to be sitting at your computer or his?
Whichever one you want me to.
I think we need you at his computer with the camera, with the webcam.
So take the camera down to his computer?
Yeah, take the camera down to his computer so that you can be at the keyboard and be able to connect or disconnect USB devices. Once we have the bootable device made from his computer,
Just disconnect it.
then you got to disconnect and come back up to your computer. But it's just a Logitech webcam. That's
just
no
a
big
plug and unplug.
Yeah, so do that. So during our break, connect the webcam to his computer, and we'll do a remote session to his computer and Zoom with his computer and create...
You want me to go down there right now and turn his on?
Well, that's fine, but I need a lunch break. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Tell me what time you want me to go to his, and I'll click on his Zoom and
Yeah.
wait for you.
Yeah. So I'm going to schedule the session through YouTube. So you'll see it on my YouTube channel, and I'll also send you an email of what
All right.
time that's going to be.
All right.
And I think it's 1:30 now. So I'm thinking that's going to be 3 o'clock Pacific. Got it?
So 7 o'clock my time?
6 o'clock. You're 3 hours ahead. 6 o'clock your time.
Okay, I'll make sure about 5 or 10 minutes before I boot his computer up, connect the camera.
Yeah, I'll be connecting with you 10 minutes before, and we'll get the Zoom connection and the remote connection before we start the YouTube live.
Okay.
All right. So, other comments here. Use the son's computer working correctly. Yeah, working correctly. I think that will work fine. I would say we're making good steps. Yeah, Troy, if you hit start menu on restart, hold shift, let it choose startup options, boot media, UEFI partition device. I gotta read that slower. If you hit start menu on restart, it holds shift. Oh, okay, I know what you're saying. Then it let choose startup options, boot media, UEFI. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do that before we drop you off. I'm going to switch to your computer
All right.
and show what he's describing. I'd completely forgotten about that. If we go start and then go to restart, hold down the shift key when clicking restart. It should give us the option of being able to restart with a USB. And I did not. I lost the Zoom session. I don't know what he's seen on his end. And Sam says that's the same as advanced startup, and I think that is likely the case. So I'm going to end the remote session with his computer and shut down this YouTube session. And for those of you who don't know, if there's any here, what I'm doing with my YouTube channel is providing free support to people through Zoom and live streaming and remote connections. If you would like to have a session such as that, send an email to DougBetts@LiveWindowsTraining.com, and it can be on a high technical level like this or on a basic user level. Either way is fine with me. And if you look at other videos on my channel, you'll see that yes, indeed, that is the case. The easy way to get to my channel, in the address bar, youtube.com/LWTDB. So that's an acronym for my channel. Live Windows Training-DougBetts is the name of the channel. I hope this video has been useful and informative to you. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.